presence of some of our eminent guests. Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna. Our chief guest, Professor Krishnaraja Nirendra Kumar, Professor in Health Data Science and Public Health, Institute of Applied Health Research, University of Birmingham. Professor R. Surendra Kumaran, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Jaffna. And also, we wish to take this moment to welcome all the guests, staff, students, and well-wishers to the Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022.
Now, the national anthem will be played, and a kind request, dear ladies and gentlemen, please give due respect to the national anthem and please remain standing for lighting of the oil lamp.
Oil lamp. So first of all, we kindly request Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, the Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, to light the oil lamp. Our chief guest, Professor Krishnaraja Nirendra Kumar, Professor in Health Data Science and Public Health at the Institute of Applied Health Research, University of Birmingham. Professor R. Surendra Kumaran, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Jaffna. Professor S. Kannadasan, Faculty of Graduate Studies, Dr. Uma Shankar, President of Jaffna Medical Faculty Alumni Association. Dr. Ramya Kumar, the Coordinator of Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022. Mr. T. Madhumilan, MSU President, Faculty of Medicine, University of Jaffna. One of the student member from Committee of Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022. One of the student representative from 40th batch. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can have your seats.
Now we kindly invite Professor S. Sri Satkunar Raja, Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, Chief Guest, Professor Krishna Raja Nirandara Kumar, Professor in Health Data Science and Public Health at Institute of Applied Health Research, University of Birmingham, Professor R. Surendra Kumaran, Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Jaffna, Dr. Ramya Kumar, Coordinator, Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022, to the head table.
Thank you. This event today is a platform for knowledge sharing, but also, most importantly, it's a celebration of the fruits born from a year-long toil in the research by our students. On that positive note, and with a kudos to the 40th batch, let's begin the events for the day. And now, it's the time to welcome you all with our warm and hearty welcome. So, we kindly invite Dr. Ramya Kumar to deliver the welcome address.
A very good morning to you all. I would first like to start by requesting the students who are sitting right at the back to come forwards, please, because there are plenty of seats in front. Please do that because it looks very empty in front. Please come now. Please come to the front. Hurry up. you are delaying the proceedings. Could you please come to the front quickly so that the hall looks full? Thank you. Yes, please. Thank you, sir. Okay, so once again, sorry about that. So a very good morning to everyone. On behalf of the organizing committee of the UR Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022, it is with pleasure that I warmly welcome everyone gathered here at the Hoover Auditorium this morning. I am deeply honored to be entrusted with the responsibility of coordinating this event and first thank the Faculty of Medicine for this opportunity. I welcome the chief guest, Professor Krish Nirandarakumar, who is here all the way from the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation. We are indeed privileged to have a researcher of your caliber at our undergraduate symposium, and all of you are extremely lucky to have this exposure. I also warmly welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor Sri Satkunaraja, who has always supported this event, not just this year, but in years prior. Thank you, sir, for being with us this morning. I welcome the Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Professor R. Surendra Kumaran, who has been a pillar of support in organizing this event. Thank you, sir. I also welcome our special invitees, the council members of the University of Jaffna, health administrators of the Jaffna district, the president of the local alumni association, and other dignitaries for honoring us here with your presence this morning. I welcome our extended faculty from the Teaching Hospital Jaffna and the academic staff of the faculty who support undergraduate research in various ways, including supervision of research. Many of you are here to serve in the capacity of chairs and evaluators. Thank you so much. The Undergraduate Research Symposium is an annual event at the faculty. This year, amidst the economic crisis, we are holding URS 2022 at a smaller scale. Here, I would like to acknowledge with a deep sense of gratitude our sponsors, the Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni United Kingdom, for the generous financial support extended to make this event happen. I hope you will be able to join our inauguration virtually. The conference theme, Wisdom Through Research, was chosen to mark the enduring need for wisdom and reflection in medical practice. While evidence-based clinical practice is data-driven, medicine is also very much about people and relationships. Undergraduate research training at the faculty, while emphasizing evidence-based practice, also fosters teamwork and collaboration among our undergraduates. These are important in the training of medical professionals. Today's symposium will showcase the research activities of the 40th batch of medical students. The symposium will be held in 3 parallel sessions under the sub-themes Chronic Illness and Care, Women, Children and Nutrition, and Education, the Pandemic and Beyond. As you will observe, many of the studies are based on secondary data, and this is because the students undertook their projects during the peak of the COVID pandemic. I congratulate them for completing their projects despite these challenges. As a member of staff of this faculty and the Department of Community and Family Medicine, I am extremely proud of the emphasis placed on research in our undergraduate medical program. I hope all of you will have the time to join the oral presentation sessions that will follow to witness the solid foundation laid by our faculty in undergraduate research. Before I end, I sincerely thank the URS 2022 Organizing Committee for the tremendous support they provided in organizing this event. I especially acknowledge the support of the Dean's Office in this respect. Unlike past years, the committee has student members from the 41st and 42nd batches. This event would not have been possible without their contribution and support. I hope all of you have a pleasant morning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we kindly invite our Dean, Professor S. Surendra Kumaran, to address the gathering.
Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Saknaraja, Chief Guest, and my friend Professor Chris Narendra Kumar, and Dr. Ramya, the Research Coordinator, Professor Kannadasan, Dean Graduate Faculty, Professors, and Dr. Umar Shankar, the Alumni Faculty of Medicine, Jaffna, and the senior staff, students. It's a great day. So we are here to listen your presentation and encourage you. So Undergraduate Research Symposium is our annual event, particularly that as a kind of already that in introduction, Dr. Ramya mentioned that the research or this clinical practice all data driven, so we rely on the data. So then we want you to get kind of a experience of handling small scale of data and then enjoy that too as a experience for you to develop as a kind of a research career. That is one of the main key aspect for a medical practitioner. So this as part of that, we want all you to also develop your presentation skill, and particularly that discuss and then argue and the way that to try to synthesize that the knowledge, that is very important. So then when you are able to make this kind of a practice when you are appearing in the command forum. And I have to congratulate that today that 40th batch, they are presenting their research papers here. They are able to do their research in spite of this having great COVID pandemic period. So some of the way they managed to gather the information and then able to compile and then deliver the things. So I hope that they will enjoy, and this will be kind of a great experience and for the junior batches to listen their presentation and they can learn more about it. And I want to thank Professor Chris Narendra Kumar. We actually maybe that one year junior to me, Chris was in the Colombo Medical School, and then he went to UK. He did this public health and data science. So he's a data scientist, and now even that's one of the British Medical Journal they published last year. That's one of the promising researcher in UK. So he has developed this career, and his publication, some of the things really changed the medical practice, particularly in diabetes, COPD. And when you go to his profile, you can look at. So he is actually born and grown here in Jaffna. His father was an eminent surgeon, and because of his illness, the family moved to Colombo, and then he went to UK. Now that but that his collaboration for us, this for the faculty and the university, we are able to bring international funds and grants, particularly to build up the relationship with the University of Birmingham and Liverpool. So now that we are expanding our thing, and we are planning to develop a kind of a center for digital epidemiology. So then we are having discussions in for next 2 days, and also he was invited as a speaker, and also then now he is collaborating, and he is getting honorary position there in Colombo University to develop same kind of a center and development. So thank you, Chris, for here and all your contribution for last. I think that he started to kind of when I was doing my postdoctoral, he was doing public health. That was in 2010-11. So now that more than a decade, he has been associating with me and then with the faculty more than 7-8 years. So then being here as physically and also the future collaboration and your career also kind of a good model for the medical future medical doctors and the scientists to aspire. And then I would like to thank this URS 2022 committee, then the coordinator, and particularly the student representatives, their valuable contribution to make this because you do even with this economic crisis and a lot of challenges going on. These are global, but Sri Lanka is adversely affected. So with this all, then we are able to make this. So thank you very much for your hard work and to make it a reality. And also I want to thank that when we approached JMF for Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni UK to extended their financial support to sponsor this event. So I would like to thank everybody, then this our Dean's Office and the staff from other departments and all for your valuable contribution to make this event successful. So I wish you to have a kind of a very excellent, wonderful day and have a nice experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your informative speech, sir. Now, with my pleasure, we warmly welcome our Vice Chancellor, Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, to address the gatherings.
Very good morning to you all. Let me pay my respectful obeisance to the Almighty for His choicest blessing and glorifying the university and the faculty with this wonderful event. Let me, when I was coming, you are quoting about something about Stephen Hawking. Basically, he's a theoretician, a mathematician from Cambridge. I'll tell you what he said was already said in the hymns. I'll sing the song here now. கிளியே கிளைஞர் மனத்தே கிடந்தொளிரும் ஒளியே எண்ணில் ஒன்றுமில்லா வெளியே is a space. வெளி முதல் பூதங்களாய் விரிந்த அம்மே அழியேன் அறிவு களவான அதிசயமே. So Hawking is the author of Big Bang. So he said, of course, he worked in the path of Einstein's, the theory of relativity, where time and space mixed. When the time is, the origin of universe began with the no space, then the space came out of it. The space expanding to accommodate all our activities, still keep on expanding. So it is 4,500 million years old. It's all are calculated in a paper, not with microscopes. So the hymn also said, Veli mudal pudangalayi virinda amme. So space came first, then other elements came. The sound, the vibration, or the air, fire, water, earth. So one side, Shastra wisdom is there, real things are there. Other side, the progressive science is there. Remember, we imported a person from Birmingham. Institute of Health Research. So institute means we have a secondary schools, we have universities, faculties, then the institute, completely devoted for research. In the institute, even I have my sabbatical I spent partly in the Institute of Mathematics at the Oxford. So institute, the basic entrance are masters and PhDs. Only the postgraduate student they start with. So that's what the institute means, Rockefeller Institute and complete research. Look at the word research. Research. This is already there. And out of the research process, what do you get? Discovery. Covered thing, again open up. That's what the hymn I related. Velimudal Pudangalai Virindame, then Hawkins said, that after Hawkins revealed this Big Bang publication and findings, then even the Pope also invited him and garlanded him with a gold medal in the Vatican. So it's a mixture of things. So early bed, early rise. So this is a month of December and November. November, according to Vaishnava, is a December. For us, this is a Saivas, this is a December. The both of this month is a seed sowing months. Everywhere we are sowing seeds. You look at when the Chris coming, you would have seen everywhere the greenish paddies sprouting. So that's what's happening today to you. So we are giving the research experience to you. It's a pioneering event. Even I attended first conference when I was doing my PhD in the Swansea after finding 1 year progress. We never had a taste of these things when we were young. Now the modern world is very different, globalized setup. Now we are imported a person from research institute with a distinguished research record. Already he is interested about our tropical country, health issues, communicable disease or non-communicable disease. And that's what he is already witnessed our problem, and also he had his education from St. John's and St. Thomas and Colombo University. So he knows our background and our credentials. So dear children, being gone to 2002 in UK, in 2022 he is bringing the good things he acquired in the field of research for you to freely give. That is a sow in the seed. So you will have your time to deliver. So this is the way the human beings we are evolving. So why the research important? Because this is a knowledge center. So we impart knowledge to undergrads. The 40th batch, you have been here for the last 4 years. So we have been imparting knowledge. We have to disseminate knowledge. So we have been conducting various community engagement programs. But how you do all this without creating knowledge? That's the most hardest part. So knowledge frontier is expanding. I always say exponentially expanding. So the doubling of the knowledge, the time taken for doubling of the knowledge is halving. It's like radioactivity. So in half lifetime, everything shortened up. So it's halving. So in this modern world, otherwise you will be left out. Even doctors, they have been keep on telling in various programs, the TB day, other day in our youth conference, they are inviting all the MOs, PHIs and all the people to update. Now the technology also changing. Even last TB day, our Kirti Gunasagara came, very distinguished person on this pulmonary research areas and studies in this country. He talked about some update on the TB and this detection. Now the molecular technology related stuffs are coming. We're highly advanced. No more sputum analysis or something. So people are scared of this, so social stigma is there. So now you put them into the state-of-art laboratory with the radiology technology or genes technology. That's also detect, they say. So these things are expanding. That's what we have in the university science faculty. The physics is there, the fundamental spectroscopy, radiology, and all kind of things are there developing. Nanotechnology and all these things are fundamentally developing. They don't claim any patentship or anything, freely available. Newton, I don't think, claimed any patentship. Einstein didn't claim any patentship. All the nuclear reactors are operating under his thing. All this, James Clerk Maxwell, I think he's from Birmingham, from Edinburgh, trained. James Clerk Maxwell, India history did go. He's the father of electromagnetic theory. He unified electricity and magnetism together. Otherwise, like our A-level knowledge, Ampere's law, Faraday's law, Fleming law, these so many laws are there. Then he put in the electromagnetic, these fundamental laws, combined everything, unified electricity and magnetism. He said it can't be separable. It is together. The magnetism and electricity together. That's a Maxwell law. I don't think you will have a taste of it unless you do some mathematics and physics. Even Chris was saying his intention was to do mathematics, but he ended up with medicine. Because this is what the Creator created human beings. One of the best beings in the universe. Our engine is one of the best engine ever created. It has all the technologies. Whatever you have universe it has. The memory, digital, retrieval, everything. The fluid dynamics, digital system, reproductive system, all things are there. Even without bolts and nuts, our joints are moving. Look at the mechanical. That's what my master used to say. Our thinking is mechanics. We have a classical mechanics, we have statistical mechanics, now we have biomechanics. All these mechanics are governed by this Newton's laws, basically. Then we modified in advance. If you look at any device, what we have created, it works with at least, if the animation there, if the movement is there, some motor is operating. Or at this small scale, micro level. But if you look at the lotus flower, it's moving behind the sun. There's no motor, nothing. It's a non-mechanistic setup. We had to go far away. We had to go further away to understand this. Non-mechanistic. But our physics is mechanics. Quantum mechanics is our latest theory. With the quantum mechanics only we try to explain everything. Now the quantum biology coming. Because otherwise the biology gets stagnated. You can't do data analysis, interpretation, everything you cannot explain. You have to find theories. Because Darwin's evolution, all are getting saturated. Because now the STEM faculties are doing well. The science, engineering, technology faculty we have introduced. So they have been producing stuff. So the medical people, you have to utilize this. So many diagnostic technologies are coming because of the advancement of other. Laser. When I was doing my PhD in 80s, the laser was invented. It's not that old. I think our center was Heriot-Watt University is a technology university. The name of what? The power of the light. 100 watt, 50 watt. The steam watt. His money, the university is fully devoted to technology. And at the time of 70s, UK thought the only way to progress to create the centers of excellence. So the petroleum exploration started, sea digging started. Now still we are wondering whether we have or not. They started in the North Sea, then the Norway started growing. Now the Norway is also leading in the medical research, the STEM culture and all these things. So it's a wonderful, big Disneyland is there for you. It's not merely you are going for peripheral areas and doing a medicine. Medicine is a part of the thing that is about our engine. Not about anything else, but it's a combination of effort of other discipline. Therefore, the research also, empirical research there, theoretical research there, it's a multi-dimensional nowadays. So you need to be, if you want to go to that level, I recently have been telling, you find the water all over the place. In the pond, in the river, in the sea, different quality. All of them are polluted. Even our body also 70% of the things are water. But if you want to find the distilled water, pure water, the clouding done. Clouding not done by Apple, not by Google. The Google came to exist on 1998. This clouding done by the sun. You throw the radiation. Radiation. That's the Maxwell theory. After that only we found the radiation. Even the velocity is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters second minus 1. Vast, big velocity. The radiation run. With the radiation heat also come. Then evaporates. Lightly. We don't witness even. Then the clouding done. Then the season come. Season come because earth moves around the sun in an ellipse. The earth is on the focus. I am telling what the recent 200 years of discovery. You don't read this in the Bible or in the Vedas. It is a discovery purely by scientists. No, these rough statements are there. The sutras are there. The details are there. So we have now our scientific almanac. So we know where the rain pouring in. That's what I am saying. The higher education institute is like clouding. So you came from A level. Now it's been done. So you have been imparted knowledge. Now you got maturity. 3 years of existence in the faculty. Now they are giving you a taste of the research. So I want to congratulate all the community medicine department. They have been good. And then the father is our Sivanyana Sundaram professor. Maybe he's a colleague of our today, Chris, our chief guest surgeon of that generation. He originated the research culture. His textbook on research, he authored a book on research. Now it's a textbook in all over the country as university. So there, this Kumarendran, Surendra Kumar, and Ramya Kumar, and all is proud. And Ramya Kumar also Peridinian and Howard. So it's another value addition. So she wants to go to, I understand, the postgraduate fellowship in the Malaysia. So this kind of experience you gather. Even I myself is a mathematician from a village, from Hartley College. Then gradually I was given the opportunity. I always say, or my master used to always say, when you are deserving, the nature provides you opportunity. Since our birth, that's what's happening. The economic crisis going on. Electricity cut is going on. When did electricity invented? When was electricity invented? Only 300 years ago. So before that, what about the Europe? What about the Birmingham? What about the Edinburgh? How did they survive? They were firing coal, chimneys, all kind of things are there. So survival is always there. The microbes are coming, coronas are coming. So you are the most important people. I think our parasitology, microbiology, they offered excellent service during the COVID time. The PCR testing and all this. Even PCR test was invented in 2005. Otherwise, what was our nature? So one side things are going, but other side we have to prepare. So the research conference is a blessing for our university and the faculty. And you are the people partaking. Without your presence and your partaking, it is like a kind of a ceremony. So I know some of them get inspired today. I know some of the students, even I saw recently a student departing from the normal stream of activities and want to go to states for undertaking research. The first time I encountered a person like that. So we extended full help. She or he left normal curriculum activities, the channel of progressing, and what a research in first hand. This what happened to Ramanujan. This what happened to Einstein. This what happened to all sort of scientists. Hawkins, he was a Parkinson diseased person. He was in a wheelchair. He couldn't even talk. But the brain was fantastically working. One of the ever best brain. You think the story is over with the Parkinson? No. Sorry, Hawkins. There's a Simon Donaldson. I tell you the Simon Donaldson story in the Oxford. Then he was defending his PhD. Right? In Oxford. When he was defending his PhD, Chancellor came to attend the open defense. After the defense, he garlanded him and made him as a Shaladium professor on the same day. The appointment letter, no interview, nothing. At the time, he was only 27. So these sort of stories are there. It's a wonderful world, but research done in solitude. Research done very depressing in some time, because you do in solitude so many failures. You know the story of Thomas Alva Edison and all this. So many failures. But when these discoveries come, so we provide opportunity now. The conferences are done everywhere for the celebration. That is the only moment for you to cherish your work. So today I think you will all enjoy your presentation, and don't think it's a small affair. Because what your idea originating maybe is a worth of very much celebration for future years. That's what the Microsoft stories. They are dropouts. They started this business. Steve Jobs is in the IT sectors. So many people are working behind the scene, and their contribution. I finish with the Lord Krishna's quote. He says, little advancement of knowledge may save you from the greatest fear of your life. Not only now, even when I was a children in the school, somebody called me and said, put this, the polio. So it's happened. So this due to our scientists' endeavors, so that's we are free from all kind of communicable disease now and infected disease now. Similarly, you will do, so whatever you originate today, please keep on thinking. One day it will be a big thing for the world. That's what Einstein, when he was 16, running for his life from the Germany, he's a famous Jew. We always say second famous Jew in the world. That the first one is Jesus Christ, second one is Einstein. He was running for his life, not studying in the universities. In the Switzerland with his friend's father was a professor working in the laboratory. At the time he said he was thinking about this time is not independent of space. Time is not independent. So we always think time is the independent thing. No, he said time and space are mixed. That's the theory of relativity. When time is zero, space is zero. The time clock running, our body clock running, I always say, when I was in the womb, I was a one-cell embryo. Then my body clock may be running. Now it's running. Aging. So one day we depart. So this system is there. But he got this idea when he was 16. But he published when he was 28. Only few people understood. Only 7 of the people understood his theory. It's a mesmerizing theory, reacting everything what we have done before. So that's what the equation borne out, E is equal to mc squared. Today the nuclear reactor running in Britain reactors are different from French reactors. French reactors are different from US reactors. Now we are trying to mimic the sun. Sun is a nuclear reactor. It's a fusion reactor. 2 hydrogen isotope join and generate the energy. But we are trying to do that ourselves. Our reactors running in the world are fission reactors, splitting. But we are not trying to capture that yet. So that is giving us all the energy in the world. So similarly today I want to congratulate all the people who have been organizing this, and also wonderful that you have been presented your research for this symposium, and early bed, early rise, and also may God bless you all. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, sir, for those thought-provoking words of wisdom. Now, we would like to invite Professor B. Kumarendran to give an introduction to Chief Guest.
Good morning, all the guests, my teachers, doctors, students, and all those in the auditorium. I have been given a very difficult task, because introducing the chief guest may be difficult in 2 ways. Either it may be very difficult to get the content to talk about the chief guest within the 5 minutes, or otherwise it will be very difficult to narrow down to summarize the wealth of the work the person has done. So that I am in the latter situation, because I am in a great difficulty how to narrow down the Krish work within 5 minutes. Anyhow, I'll try to do my best. So in that case, Krish, as already our Dean as well as the Vice Chancellor mentioned, Krish is a professor in the University of Birmingham, professor in data science and public health. Not only that, already our Vice Chancellor mentioned what is an institute. So the University of Birmingham is one of the top 100 universities in the world. One of the top 100 universities in the world. So it's a very high ranking university, not only in UK. Out of 30,000. Yeah, out of 30,000. So out of 30,000 universities, so he is working in one of the top 100 universities, and not as a lecturer. Now he is the deputy director for the Institute of Applied Health Research. And at his age, is very challenging. So now we can see how we can link his achievements with today's theme, that is wisdom through the research, as well in the context of our undergraduate research symposium. His interest toward research started during his undergraduate period, and then he got a wonderful opportunity to work under the former Vice Chancellor of University of Colombo, Professor Chandrika Vijayaratne, so that he was given a task to do data analysis. So then he thought that he should take this as his future career, so that he did further into that. And then he went to UK and he did a lot of things there. And then he joined the University of Birmingham as a senior clinical lecturer. And he is well known not only for his research, because I have also sat in his lectures there when he was in University of Birmingham. And he is my overseas supervisor for MD overseas supervisor. And he got the best teaching excellence award from the Vice Chancellor. So one of the notable achievements in the University of Birmingham. Then the University of Birmingham got a wonderful opportunity. Only 2 universities in UK got the chance, the University of Birmingham as well as the University College of London, to analyze the data from the general practitioner. And when we see the data, we should not think that it's hundreds and thousands. It is 12 million persons data. That means more than half of the Sri Lankan population. So when the data was received to University of Birmingham, it took initially around 6 months to extract the data to publish a paper. Then Krish thought, so we can't proceed in this way. So in the case, we need to improve that. So that he thought we should use IT. And then he got one of the best products from the IT from India, Krishna Maragadamani, and then what happened? Both of them involved, and they created an app. So when the data was extracted over 6 months earlier, so Krish developed the app that is called Dexter, and that extract the data within minutes. So you can imagine the amount of contribution he has done. So after he developed what happened, he further excelled into the ASS, that is automated clinical studies. So using the automated clinical studies. So then when initially he started with the diabetes, then he expanded to diabetes, ophthalmology, and then neurology, mental health, into around 6 avenues, gastroenterology. So now one of the persons because Sri Lanka is facing a lot of challenges in economy. One of the persons from UK, Diana Gamage, is advocating for improving the economy by ganja business. But he demonstrated, Krish demonstrated the knowledge-based economy. So that when Krish come from UK, unlike Diana, so that we have to grab the opportunity to do the knowledge-based economy, because he attracted 6 billion Sri Lankan rupees grants through research. 6 billion Sri Lankan rupees. So it's an immense work, right? So this is a good example how we can generate knowledge-based economy through the research. So then what happened with this, he also realized we can't be in silos, so that we need to know about the multimorbidity, combining different diseases. So that he moved into Birmingham, that's another platform, Murmur, and then he thought that we could further, update the current things. So that he moved into artificial intelligence. So that he produced 2 things, that is Optimal and the MumPredict. So you can search in the internet. And also he didn't confine only to the university, and who went beyond the university, and then he extended support to the industry. So that's how he is an example for academic staff, how we can contribute to the development of industry. So that he developed the demand project, and then he extended his support to the national level. So in that case, all of us are aware about Medical Research Council UK, and the NICE, that is National Institute for Clinical Excellence, and the CDEM, that is the Center for Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism. So for all these, and he is one of the highly wanted, the invited resource person there. And then publications. So when all of us are finding difficult to publish one paper, so as our Vice Chancellor has mentioned, the exponential growth, And I can say that the Krish publications, again, we can put into exponential growth, because in the single year, the 2022, he has more than 20 publications in high impact journals. That is the British Medical Journal, all the high impact journals. So that's how, so that he is not only growing himself, and he is also developing a great team. He has trained a lot of people in hundreds, right? Trained a lot of people and also motivate them to do the research. So I have been only 5 minutes. I have exceeded 1 minute more. I will just finish within 30 seconds. So in the case, Prish has a long connection with Sri Lanka. His father was a well-known surgeon in the hospital, Dr. Krishna Raja. And then he studied in St. John Bosco, St. John's College and St. Thomas College. And he had his undergraduate training in Faculty of Medicine, Colombo. And then he is having a long connection with us, with our dean for more than 10 years. And I was trained by him. Dr. Kumaran was trained by him. And then now he is supporting us with the atrial fibrillation research. That research has already recruited 10,000 participants, not one or two, not in 100, 10,000 participants. And that is because of the help with Krish. And he has not stopped only with that. And he is also trying to help us, not only to our department, many departments, so that tomorrow also we have arranged a meeting to how we can strengthen a research center in the faculty. So Krish is example for us in many regards. How we can use IT, how we can use artificial intelligence, digital health, and also knowledge-based economy, collaboration, multidisciplinary research, multi-country research, and in many regards. And then another example, because after gathering a lot of skills in UK, now he is coming back and he will continue to come to Sri Lanka and continue to help not only our faculty, Colombo Medical Faculty and Sri Lanka. So that I would say he is the ideal person to celebrate this occasion as the chief guest of the function. Thank you very much.
Thank you for such a very interesting introduction. And also, we would like to take this opportunity to extend our warm and hearty welcome to Professor K. Sivapalan, former Dean, Faculty of Medicine, University of Jaffna, to these gatherings. And now, we kindly request our chief guest, Professor Krishnaraja Nirendra Kumar, to address the gatherings.
Can I mute from you? Thank you, everyone. It's a great privilege being here. That was a very long introduction, which means most of what I wanted to say already Kumarendran has said. But first of all, let me thank Professor Sri Satkunarajat, Professor Surendra Kumar, and Dr. Ramya for inviting me. It's a great pleasure being here, where I spent at least 10 to 12 years of my life. So let me make a start with what I wanted to present, but I'll probably deviate from that, having listened to my previous speakers, so that I share some of my experience as much as my research, so you can see that tomorrow you can do it. Actually, you can do it much better than I did. Okay, so let's go through some of the research I have done. So Kumarendran mentioned about an innovation called Dexter, and that's been the strength of our research team. It's a technology that only occurred because clinicians, epidemiologists, statisticians, computer scientists, all of them came together. That's the first thing you need to recognize. The days where Einstein and all did research as a single person is gone. Okay? So if you want to do research, you've got to be multidisciplinary. There are people you would love to work with, bring them in. There are people you don't want to work with. Learn how to work with them if you need their skills. And it's a skill I'm still learning. Hard work, but we need to do it. If we want to grow as a whole, as a university, then we need to embrace diversity. People have diverse ways, attitudes, how they speak, how they dress up, and so on. But we need to find ways to work together. So that's the first thing to think about. So I'll talk about Dexter a little bit. So these are things I was going to go through. I'm conscious time is very limited, so I will skip some of the slides. But most of the things I do is to do with electronic health record database research. Okay? So in UK, every primary care has electronic health records, which means all 60 million people, 65 million people are registered in primary care. And they produce billions and billions of data points, which can be used for research, despite it has its limitation. Okay? And then I will introduce Dexter, and I'll show you some examples where we have used Dexter for a range of research. So these are the type of databases we get in UK. So primary care databases, I won't go into detail, secondary care, hospital, and maternity care. So if you take one small database, I don't say it's small, but there's even a bigger one than this, CPRD-ORM, which is 35 million patient records. So this is 18 million patient records, which means there are billions and billions of data points, all their blood results, their diagnosis, the symptoms they present with, the treatments they receive, where they come from, and so on. And using that is not very easy. The way you handle that data is hard to process. You need computational power, but you also need good quality research study design. So there are specific biases that occur when you use these databases. So you should be able to understand those biases and try to find ways to mitigate those biases. And it takes very long time to work out this study design. If I want to compare, for example, drug A against drug B in real world, and which one is more effective, there are huge biases because there are reasons one would select drug A as opposed to drug B. So it's not the typical randomized controlled trial. And therefore, you have to be very careful. So this takes lots of time to do. And also, if I finally come with a study design and if I give it to 10 different people to extract the data in a way it is analyzable, I'll get 10 different data sets. Okay, so you can see how it can happen and errors can come into play. And it takes so much time and so on. And most of the research are not reproducible, okay, for this reason. So if your research is not transparent and reproducible, then it's no good. Okay? So it's very important to keep those in mind. And this is how I compare it. So I started teaching my son chemistry, and I came across fractional distillation. And you can see what is crude oil, which is terribly dirty. With the right methods, you can turn it into amazing, well-refined LPG gas, petrol, diesel, but also the least purified bitumen is useful. It's useful to make roads. Okay? Likewise, if you take this terrible, dirty data that comes from electronic health record and you use it wisely, then you can generate huge amount of knowledge that can change patients' lives. Okay, so that's what we do. And don't forget, I'm not a researcher, but also a public health person. So it's often necessary for me to take decision on the basis of knowledge that is sufficient for action, but might not be sufficient to actually satisfy my intellect. Okay, so you need data to make decision. So let me introduce Dexter. So this is where we struggle when we have to extract the data as per study design. So what we did was working together, knowledge engineered the study designs. So this is not just extracting data, but actually knowledge engineering study designs. How do you tackle immortality time bias? How do you tackle prescription by indication bias? So how do you do that? And that's what we tried to do. I won't go into the detail of the architecture, but what happened then was what took 6 months could be done now in 6 hours to 60 minutes these days by this particular technology. So let me give you some examples. So we have progressed further in automating different study designs. This is a simple study, for example, women with polycystic ovarian syndrome, which affects, I think, in Sri Lanka, as many as 10 to 15%. Okay, so huge impact. They are at high risk of getting something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. We already knew diabetes, we know cardiovascular disease, so non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Now, I can find as many as 63,000 women. Actually, in the new database, I can find 150,000 of them. And I compared them with people who do not have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And we found, not surprisingly, they were twice or thrice higher risk of getting it. But that wasn't the clever bit. We were able to show that it was independent of their BMI, because most people believe it is obesity driven. Okay? So then the question comes, what is it contributing? We were able to show with 70,000, 80,000 testosterone values in these women that actually it may be related to higher level of testosterone. In the case of diabetes, we were able to show even within normal range of testosterone, as the testosterone levels increase, the greater the risk of diabetes in women with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Okay? So, which meant my colleague was using that information to go on and get a grant to develop drugs that have anti-androgen property. Okay? Simple study, but huge benefit. This is a long COVID study we published in Nature Medicine recently. Here we were looking at 115 symptoms after 3 months of COVID, and we identified a range of symptoms that were high. Here, another nice example in thyroxine. When you give thyroxine for people with hypothyroidism, you try to bring the TSH within normal levels. But there were questions within normal level. Where do you aim for? Should you aim towards the lower end or towards the higher end when you replace with thyroxine? And what we were able to show with 150,000 people with more than 800,000 TSH levels is sufficient to protect them from death, cardiovascular disease, and many things. And I would like to mention the first author here, Rasaya Dayakaran, was a lecturer here as a statistician and is part of my team now. So he's the first author in a BMJ paper. I haven't been a first author in a BMJ paper, so great work by Daya. So you can see again, I can't do much. Sorry? Oh, great to hear. He's a great businessman as well. He runs a shop and various other things recently because that was his passion. So you can see he has a passion for maths. At the same time, he has this passion to do business. And he prospers in both. Within the last 3 years, he does both of them now. This is a policy study. But I won't go into detail because of constraints of time. So what was a team of 2 now is a big team. Okay? I have senior lecturers, most of them I fund through research. Lots of doctoral students, 15 of them, and so many postdoctoral students. And it is only possible, has nothing to do with me, it's to do with multidisciplinary work. It's to do with the wonderful computer scientist who I work with. It's his attitude, because you know in computer scientists, you can't hold on to them. In UK, they will not stay in academic institution because the pay is almost a third to what they will get in industries, okay? But he has stood on, but I think he'll reap the reward by actually spinning it out as a company. So I told you about analyzing existing data, and using that, I will show you some examples. So MumPredict is a large national consortium I lead, so that's the good thing about being public health. You don't have to stick to one thing. I do pregnancy research one day, diabetes another day, multimorbidity another day, domestic violence another day, and so on. Okay, so I'm a fake expert in many things. So this one, it's me, a public health physician, leading pregnancy research across the 4 nations, devolved nations: Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and England. And in this, what we are looking at is if women were to have 2 or more health conditions at the time of pregnancy, which is around 25%, if you take the allergies, etc., along with it, and look at ways how we can improve care for them. Okay? And that involves a lot of questions. What are the combinations of health conditions they come with? How do we cluster them? How do we prevent them? How do we look at the medications they get? Because most of them are getting 2 or more medication. You wouldn't believe as many as 60% receive 2 or more medication if they have 2 or more health conditions during the first trimester. And no one knows what these medications do to the growing fetus. Okay? So there is a lot of research to be done. And there are other things we also recognize. For example, what happens during pregnancy: gestational diabetes, pregnancy-induced hypertension, preterm birth, and so on, so on, so on. They have a lot of information in them to predict what happens in future for women. So can we use that information to predict future events? Okay. So there's a lot of work, but you can see huge amounts of universities, very eminent professors, and it's not very easy to manage professors. We know that, don't we? And the politics, the issues, but when you focus what you want to do, you want to improve the care of women with 2 or more long-term conditions. That's your focus, not your issue with the other person. And then they will come together, and they all work together in a way I have never seen. We all love each other, and we work with each other well across 4 nations, across universities, and across people. Lots of data sets we will use. I won't go into detail again. This is a long COVID study, which we got. My lecturer is leading it. It was his first grant, but we said, why don't you go for a big grant? So his first grant was a £2 million grant. And he's actually Shamil Haroon. He comes from Katan, Korea. He's born and bred in UK, I think, but another Sri Lanka. So this is to look at long COVID, but what I want to make a point is we collect data using electronic health record, but using that record, you can identify people and do prospective cohort by inviting them to come towards the study, okay? And we are collecting blood. We will be doing very clever stuff like the omics, the genetics, etc. We will be putting wearables so we can monitor their heart rate, etc. And then we will bring the best computer scientists, mathematicians to actually analyze it in a way that hasn't been analyzed before. I won't say everything works so beautifully as I described, so we struggle at times to recruitment, to bring people. It's a lot of hard work, so not always you have success. I had more failures than success, in fact. The other one I like to say is a clinical trial. So we are using the same databases for clinical trials. So here we are going to give anticoagulants for low-risk patients with atrial fibrillation. So you all know people with atrial fibrillation are at high risk of stroke, but we usually give only people who are high risk using a risk score called CHADS-VAS score. Okay. Now what we believe is that you can actually give it to people with low risk and probably they will also benefit. To do that, there are 5-6 things we had to do. First, you need to show that actually atrial fibrillation patients who are at low risk, are at high risk of stroke, heart disease, dementia. We showed that with Dexter very quickly. You need to plan how many people you can recruit using such databases. We were able to show how many you can recruit in 3 years. You need to know in the 5 years how many outcomes you will get. We were able to show within the Dexter how to do that. And you need to know the incident rate to do a good sample size calculation for your trial. And we were able to do that within short time scales thanks to Dexter. Now that we have done that, we are actually recruiting using the electronic health record with our colleagues in CPRD. That's a different example. I'll now give you example which I'm very passionate about, which I really want to work with here for maternity care with University of Colombo, and likewise with primary care here with University of Jaffna. So learning health system for National Health Service. So I'll just introduce the concept. So learning health system means 3 pillars: knowledge, practice, data. How do you put existing knowledge into practice? That is, clinical guidelines are there. How do you put it into practice? 2, how do you capture what happens in practice as data? What is the medications you prescribe, the pathology results, the symptoms, the disease, and so on. 3rd, how do you use that data to generate new knowledge and then put that knowledge back into practice? So this is what we call learning health system. So knowledge to practice, you can do it with something called decision support systems. I'll come to that. Also computable guideline. Practice to data, you need to have a good electronic health record to capture that information. Thirdly, data to knowledge, you have things like Dexter to automate the process of generating knowledge. So let me give you an example. We were doing a demonstrator. We haven't achieved this as yet. So I'll show you this example. If Benjamin, 68-year-old man who has well-controlled type 2 diabetes and hypertension, comes to the hospital with COVID, okay? And he also has a history of excess alcohol intake. If I go and ask you to take alcohol history, you will all write different things. For the same person, you take the history. Okay? We don't standardize the way we collect that information, which means that information is not good for research. So Shamil again worked with colleagues to actually, how do we record alcohol? A simple thing, very basic. How much do you drink? How do you record it in a way it is accurate? He did a lot of research around that, then implemented within our hospital, which is what you see there, which means all of a sudden you get good recording of alcohol intake, which means if someone has excess alcohol intake, it will automatically send a referral to the alcohol outreach team so they can come and tackle that. If that person is going to go into withdrawal, then it will alert you to prescribe the withdrawal regime. And also if there's interaction with any drugs and alcohol, it will create an alert. So you can see something very basic, simple thing. How do I record alcohol? It's an important piece of research, okay? And can have huge benefits. And the second thing I wanted to say is, if that patient comes and the saturation drops, is you have to start dexamethasone. That's in one guideline. If the patient has acute kidney injury because the person has diabetes, you have to stop the metformin and SGLT2. That's in another guideline. If the blood glucose remains high, you have to give specific way of insulin, different to previously in COVID times. That's in another guideline. And if it stays higher, you have to adjust it. That is in another place. So a typical junior doctor cannot do this, because they can't keep track of all this knowledge. And this is where we do what we call computable guidelines, okay? And this is something you can do if you have an interest, even a little bit interest in computer science. We can train you to create these guidelines because we have produced some technology actually to do that, where people who are not computer scientists who can develop their own guidelines. So these are the, I won't go into these technical details, but we have something called OPS, which we can use, which means when someone saturation drops, it will tell you you've got to give dexamethasone. When they have acute kidney injury, it will tell you you should stop this medication, etc., etc. This is a demonstrator. It's not in practice. Okay, we do the research behind it. But we are now actually working with a maternity hospital where we actually want to implement things like this. Thirdly, I told you about data to knowledge. This is where we use Dexter. And if we ask the question, do diabetes patients with COVID fare worse than people with COVID but not having diabetes, I can get what we call a propensity score matched analysis of 20, 30 variables and give you a results that, like you will get in your manuscript, that actually they do get severe illness, so they get dexamethasone, people with diabetes and COVID, but actually in the second wave, the mortality wasn't higher because doctors have learned how to manage their diabetes, done in 3 minutes research, okay? Which we usually would have taken weeks to actually get the data processed and do things. So this is where we are going towards. I won't take too much time here. This is artificial intelligence he mentioned earlier, but I won't go into detail because we are running out of time. But the key thing I want to tell here is actually the number of people involved in this research I have to manage. Again, it's hard work with a little bit working with mathematicians and computer scientists because they are always looking like this for numbers and computer science. Sometimes if you don't interact sufficiently, they'll get very upset and all sort of things. So you have to manage them like children and make sure that everything works in order. I'm only joking. Right. But the most relevant project here is the NIHR global project which we did in Jaffna, where we saw amazing talent coming out of Dr. Kumaran, Surendra Kumar and colleagues to really get a representative sample across the northern province of people about age of 50 and actually being able to go to each household, getting information, doing a check for atrial fibrillation, and now collecting blood as well, which I was fortunate to observe yesterday. And I wish I'm doing something like that because it's such an amazing piece of work which Jaffna University is doing, and I'm so privileged to be involved with that piece of work. But what that gave us the opportunity is to showcase the amazing talent in University of Jaffna. And what we realized is if we can bring people together and do something, and then we can be the best, not here in Sri Lanka, but globally. Why not? We got the best mathematicians always turning up from Jaffna. Why not make that opportunity? Why don't we use that, create a center that will enable innovation, enable research, enable careers, and more importantly, enable us all to have fun. Okay, so anything you do it if you only like to do it and have fun. So I'm hoping that will be us. So you can see how various things happen. I won't go into this detail, but these are my 3 priority now. If I have sufficient life expectancy for the next 3 to 5 years, this is what I will focus on. So 3 things: Center for Health Data Science, which we are establishing in UK, and the reason I mentioned was there are only certain things I can do in this set of methodologies. That means I need to work with another colleague who has those expertise. It's difficult, bringing 2 teams together and making them work with each other, but we are going to do it. That's for the greater good of the university and science. So that is Center for Health Data Science. Second, obviously, what Surendra Kumar and Kumaran are leading to set up a Center for Digital Epidemiology here. Try and support in any way we can. And thirdly, of course, my computer scientist is starting his company, Dexter, to work with various organizations. And keep that in mind, because if we want to get out of economic crisis, we need to innovate. And we need to innovate and you don't need money to innovate with computers and maths. Okay. And finally, I'll say a few things about, there's a video about Dexter, but I'll say a few things in the last 3 minutes. I'm timing myself to 30 minutes about myself. So don't forget, I was born, I'm part of Northern Province. I come from Point Bitru, and my mother comes from Watukote. But I was born in Nuerelia because my father was working as a doctor there. Then we came to Jaffna, and most of the innovation comes because of the electricity cut, and you sit and read books. You can't leave your house, it's curfew, and you try to innovate. I still remember putting bits of train and trying to make it move without a battery. I don't want to even say what I did because it's so silly. But you know how we all watch television with dynamo, using bicycle. It was great fun, okay? So difficult times are there for you to think differently and find new ways of doing things, okay? And Profs mentioned how I wanted to do maths and ended up in medicine. So my parents never forced me to do medicine, okay? So I always wanted to be an engineer. So I moved to, in the first ICRC ship, my father with cancer, he had cancer from the age of 6, I know. We got into the first ICRC ship. From here, traveled 3 days to Colombo. And I needed to live in a flat where 2 rooms, 2 families sharing. It's not a nice way of living your life when your father has cancer. So I was more or less on the street, having missed school here 2 years. And then there I was just a naughty boy. And what I did was hardly studied for my O-levels, went and did it and thought, oh my God, I have made a lot of mistakes in maths. I didn't study the whole syllabus. And I realized, if it's medicine, it's easy. You just memorize and go and write it. And so that's the reason, foolishly, I went and changed to medicine, okay? That was the only reason I changed to medicine, not because I wanted to do medicine. I just thought, this is easy. You just memorize and go and write. And it turned out to be the case. Okay, so I went and got my 4As and went to Colombo medical faculty. I actually then wanted to, obviously we were in turmoil, father died and so on, wanted to go to Australia, and they were giving some visa for people who have had difficulties. So I go into this interview and I said, this is my, and he says, you got 4A, you're going to Columbia University, you don't have any difficulties. I said, are you telling me, given all the circumstances I had, if I had come here with 2 C's and 2 A's, you would have sent me to Australia. And I walked out at that place. So you can see, if you want to do something, you got to be passionate. You got to be very, very strong, and then you can do it, okay? And it's very important to think what your passion is. So for me, it was, as soon as I became a house of, only thing I enjoyed in medical school was statistics and epidemiology, okay? And so I didn't go to a lot of lectures. I was playing bridge. I played for Sri Lanka under 25 and went to Egypt. They gave me a free ticket, I went. Not because I was good, they had to select 6 people and there were only 5 of us playing bridge. So they selected all 5 of us. So I used to go and stay in the hotel when the senior team was there. They gave us a room in Hilton, you know, at that time. So it's great. So I didn't go for any of my gastroenterology module lectures, 0, okay. When I was a house officer in Lady Ridgeway Hospital, I just read the book on health information, health informatics. And I realized we tried hard. We actually, as soon as we passed out, 3 of us, me, Ubudhu D. Silva, Rashan Hanifa, who is a top professor who comes and works here, has a critical care Asia network set up, and Asanga, we set up something called Research Medicina. We wanted to do research. And then we realized we need to know statistics, and there was no statistician, medical statisticians. So there was Umar Shankar from University of Colombo, so we asked him to teach us statistics. Today he's a professor now in America. Yeah. So you can see that you need to thrive if you want to do something, okay? And going into public health is a terrible thing in UK because your salary goes down very badly, Okay, so there was time when I would put the credit card and I can't get any money out of it. But if you want to do something, just pursue it. You will always find a way. Very beautifully said, the opportunity is there. It will come to you if you do what you want to do it well. But research well. There is too many universities, foreign universities now offering degrees here. And I worry really, I met so many people in Colombo who are doing this with passion, but some of them are not going to take you anywhere. So careful what you choose to do. Research it really well. The universities will tell various things who come from UK. At the end of the day, they are here to make money. So be careful what you choose and make sure you choose the right thing. On that note, foolishly, I got a bit emotional, I suppose. I have gone 32 minutes, but thank you so much for having me here in University of Jaffna.
Thank you, sir, for those enlightening words of the reality of research and inspiring words. Now, here is a short message from Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni by Dr. Navanidam.
Good morning to all of you there. Please let me introduce myself. I'm Hamilton, here to represent the KFMO UK chapter at Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni. Particularly the undergraduate 21 priorities KFMOs. KFMO is an organization founded by the graduates and the former teachers of the Faculty of Medicine University of Jaffna, intending to help our faculty, undergraduates, hospitals, their staff, and our people back home. There are KFMO chapters in the UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the USA. KFMO chapter has been involved with the academic medicine in many projects, centered on teaching and training, post as well as undergraduates, staff development, medical students welfare, and infrastructure, and by creating research collaborations with the UK universities to raise the standard of the University of Jaffna and to produce what is the high standard. Sponsoring 5th Undergraduate Research Symposium is one of them. This symposium allows all undergraduates to present their work professionally and produce it with a practical experience in story, speaking, and presentation skills. Additionally, it serves a forum for other members of the university and our community to engage in student research. This message aims to create awareness of the overseas talents among the students in Jaffna and make them feel aware that overseas talents are there to help you. Congratulations on your successful event, and thank you for the opportunity given to me to introduce overseas alumni to the undergraduates. Thank you.
Once again, a big thank you to the Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni. And now, it's time to launch the symposium proceedings. So, we kindly request the student members of the Undergraduate Research Symposium Committee to distribute the abstract books of URS 2022 to our chief guest and other distinguished guests. Thank you all. And the URS 2022 committee apologize for not being able to give a hard copy of the proceedings to all our guests. And you will be happy to know that our proceedings are available on the faculty website under the URS tab. Students and others can access the proceedings through the faculty website.
This year, for the first time, we are awarding the Faculty Research Awards at the Undergraduate Research Symposium. We kindly call upon Dr. Kumudini Sanjayan, Chairperson, Scholarship Committee, to take over the awardings.
Research Awards for the academic year 2021. We would like to invite Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, the Vice Chancellor, to deliver the certificates. Velayudhar Sodhinaharatnam Memorial Award to the best research in community medicine in the field of microbiology. Title of the research project: The Clinical and Epidemiological Features of Patients with Liver Abscess attended to the Teaching Hospital Jaffna from August 2018 to August 2020 by Madhura Nayagam Ajit Jerome, Sivanyanam Pranavan. Where are the students? Jnanadas Mary Sureshka, Charles Jujin Jerusha Jayala, Rajabaksha Mudyan Salage Pavitra Jimhani Gunasri. This award with a cash prize of 3,000 rupees each. Next, Prof. Sinathambi Award to the best proposal in reproductive health related topics in community medicine. Title of the research project: Prevalence of common menstrual problem and their association with psychological stress among the female medical students of University of Jaffna by Rajaranjan Adityan. Miss Mirisagi Tilini Kanjana Chaturangi Fernando, Miss Logiswaran Kinosha, Don Nimanda Priyamal Vijayaratna Srimanna, Devanayakam Dushara. This award with a cash prize of 10,000 each. Next one. Dr. Muruganandan Award for the best research in mental health. This award with a cash prize of 10,000 each. Title: Influence of socio-demographic factors on the degree of burden and the coping mechanism among the primary caregivers of people diagnosed with dementia at the Mental Health Unit, Teaching Hospital, Jaffna, by Kanakasabai Mahindan, Mahendran Kamsika, Mangaleshwaran Dwaraha, Heva Diagahave, Charuka Jayantri Piyaradna, Amarikon Mudian Selage, Michael Richard Lee Amarikon. Thank you, sir. We would like to have Professor Krishnaraja Nirandara Kumar to deliver certificates. Govinda Pillai Kandaya Research Award to the best 3 researchers in the year 2021. Title of the research project: Influence of socio-demographic factors on the degree of burden and the coping mechanism among the primary caregivers of people diagnosed with dementia at the Mental Health Unit, Teaching Hospital, Jaffna, by Kanakasabai Mahindan, Mahendran Kamsika, Mangaleswaran Dwaraha, Heva Diagahave, Charuka Jayantri Piyaradna, Amarakon Mudian Selage, Michael Richard Lee Amarakon. Next research title: Equity of clinical outcomes following femoral neck fracture among patients treated with proximal femoral nail auto-rotation and dynamic screw implants at the Teaching Hospital, Jaffna, by Sharmiya Vibunasagaram, Arulinbanathan Kohilan, Midula Govindarajan, Ushwata Liyanage Shanduni Rashmika Perera, Herath Patirana Helage Vimarshana Hashini Herath, Next one. Prevalence and factors associated with exclusive breastfeeding among mothers attending child welfare clinics in Jaffna MOH area. Vijayakumar Jadushan, Karunanidhi Dinoshika, Nagaranjan Sugirdan, Kokularanjan Shirdini, Disanayaka Mudyansalage Dushita Udenika. Govindapillai Kandaya Research Award with a cash prize of 2,000 each.
Thank you, sir. And now, we kindly request our chief guest to remain in stage and to accept our token of appreciation. We kindly request Dr. P.A. Dinesh Kunje, Committee Member of Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022, to give away the token on our behalf.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, the time to express our gratitude. We kindly call Miss Anne Anobia Alston, Committee Member of Undergraduate Research Symposium 2022, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the URS Committee 2022. First of all, I wish to express my gratitude to the Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Krish Nirendra Kumar, who came all the way from UK and spent his valuable time with us on our research symposium. I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor, University of Jaffna, Professor S. Sri Satkunaraja, who spared his time from his busy schedule to attend this event. I also like to extend my sincere thanks to the Dean, Faculty of Medicine, Professor R. Surendra Kumaran, for his valuable advice and support throughout this event journey. And I wish to thank all the council members, deans of the faculties, consultants from the teaching hospitals for their presence on our event. I take this opportunity to thank all the reviewers for their constructive comments in time and help to improve the quality of the papers present. Also, I thank the evaluators and the chairpersons for their valuable time and support. Also, I would like to thank all the academic members and other staff of the faculties for their contribution on URS 2022, especially the Dean's Office and the Pharmacology Department. Further, I thank all the presenters and the students participants of URS 2022. This Undergraduate Research Symposium has been sponsored by the Jaffna Medical Faculty Overseas Alumni UK in partnership with Jaffna Medical Faculty Alumni Association. I wish to express my deepest gratitude for their support and generous sponsorship. Also, the local alumni for their coordination and administrative support on the fund transfer. I cannot thank everyone enough for their involvement and their willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones. I especially thank the people who have been the backbone to the event, our coordinator, Dr. Ramya Kumar, and other committee members of URS 2022 for their contribution and the guidance on planning and making this event successful. Also, my thanks to our technical support team, logistics arrangement team, and the student members of the committee, as well as the other students from 41st and 42nd batch. Also, I would like to thank the 43rd batch students for making the beautiful column at the entrance. And I wish to express my thanks to the Guru printers who have helped us to print the invitations, books, and all the other materials on time. Also, my deepest gratitude to the catering service for the good food along with all the adjustments they have made on the last minute's request without any hesitation. Once again, I want to express my thanks to everyone who have made this event successful, and my apologies to anyone if I missed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Anne Anubia Elston. We kindly request our chief guest and staff to proceed to the conference hall for the refreshments. We kindly invite the evaluators to the boardroom for the briefing on evaluation and refreshments. The refreshment for the students will be served at the entrance lobby of the Hoover Auditorium. Some more announcement. We kindly request the students to re-register themselves at their assigned venues. The venues have been assigned by research group for the 40th batch and clinical groups for the 41st and 42nd batches. Please proceed to your assigned venues. Please make sure to reach the assigned venues for parallel sessions by 10:45 a.m. The final awards and closing will be held at Conference Hall at 2 p.m. We invite all the presenters and the interested group members of 40th batch to the Conference Hall for the awards and closing. Thank you.